your Superwoman Summit. Just the energy, just being surrounded with the right people, the right energy, the right mindset. Change that for me. Are you seeing us, Kirsten? Welcome to Recharging Your Superwoman Virtual Summit. We are on the half of the summit. We can't get you to talk? Okay, let me see. If so, we've got your video. Mm, I don't have the ability to unmute you. You don't have an audio though. It seems like your mic isn't working because you don't have a mic option on my side. I cannot unmute you. So let's see. We're on a break right now. So I think she's dropped off to be able to sign back in. So I'm gonna ask, just so that we're half of our summit, I'm gonna ask all to unmute. We've got all of our attendees. Can you unmute and say something? Let's party for a little bit. Woohoo! Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We've got such amazing experts coming up. We've got such amazing. I was invited by Yesenia. Yes. Okay. So Rachel Yesenia is and there might be a confusion between Pacific time and Eastern time, but we're on Pacific time, and Yesenia is speaking at 2:30 Pacific. So that would be what, 5:30 your time? She's 2:30 Pacific. And that probably 11:30 to 31:30. That's probably what the confusion was. Yeah. Yeah. 5:30 your time, Rachel. Yeah, and that's probably one of the things that Yesenia was also wondering about, because she just messaged me wondering, when she's pulled up. But she said for 2:30. Let's look at whether we have Kirsten already. I think she's figuring out her mic because her mic isn't working. Hey, yes, we're on Pacific. We use Pacific time. So tell us a little bit about what you've taken away so far. This is your Recharging Your Superwoman Summit, fully sponsored event. I wanted to just be able to recharge women. And although we only have a few people that are live on right now, thank you so much for coming live with us and experiencing this. We've got a lot of people who have signed up for the recordings that are going to get this later on and watch it on their own convenience. But it's so amazing to be sharing this space with you right now. Thank you for being with us. So we're waiting for Kirsten to come in. Kirsten is actually an interior designer who brings energy around designs. So brace yourself for all of our listeners who are going to get energized with the little things that you can do in your space, with the magic that she brings. Okay, so we're waiting for her to come back on. She's trying to figure out her mic. So let me know on the chat. Give me some words of takeaways that you have taken away from today. What is your biggest takeaway? What has been the life changing, course changing aha moments that you have taken away with you? Well, for me, I think that, oh, Rachel's got a word for us, that anything and everything in my life can be recharged. Yes, it's about identifying, assessing, readjusting, and moving forwards. Yes, very validating for you, Ren. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to me, I think my biggest takeaway is that everything I've had this very transformational experience with Dr. Jill, in Clubhouse, where she's just declaring everything is right about you. And for the first time, I was convinced that everything was right about me, because for the longest time, I was believing a lot of things was wrong about me. I'm like, I'm still overweight. I'm still struggling with, I'm still struggling with some of my weight loss issues, despite everything that I try. And so I've convinced myself that there's a lot of things that's wrong about me. But when Dr. Jill said that everything's right about you, everything is right about you, whatever your obstacles is actually actually gonna be your story, your hero story that will actually pull people up to be able to step up from where they are. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I everything is right about us. So we've got a few more words in the chat. Thank you for sending them. Mind, body, spirit is so interconnected. Absolutely, absolutely, Ren. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow, it is so awesome to share this space with you. Let us see if Kirsten was able to make it back. I wonder. Oh, so yeah. Okay. So let's see if we're this is everything is right about you. We're live. We're doing everything as it goes. So let's see if Kirsten is having some challenges. Everything is right about us. All of our challenges is right about us. If we can just have that thought, like there's nothing embarrassing. There's no blame, no shame, no guilt. Everything is right. So this gives an opportunity for someone to actually discover that it is okay to for things not to work out. It is okay for things to not land perfectly, not land perfectly. Okay, we're gonna call Kirsten together and see what her check. Because she was here and she was just we're getting challenged. No, no, right. So let me text to you. And if you come up on the phone with us, it's okay. Let me text the link to you. Okay. No, the same. It's the same. Okay. 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 Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we're all clapping for you. No worries. No worries. Everything is right about this. Someone needed to see this. That it's okay. So she's trying to relaunch it. It's just not launching. Everything is right about this. So we get to have this space of just holding each other high, enjoying each other's company. We get to chat. So this is real life. This is real life. It's funny because sometimes we try to get it all perfect and we don't want to make mistakes. But the truth in life is we get to have grace with each other. We get to love each other despite not being perfect because no one's perfect. And we all make mistakes and we get to love each other despite our mistakes and despite of things not working out because this is life. One of the other stories that I could tell you was when we posted this, when we made the posters and the flyers, there was no Pacific time on it. And so um, yeah. So one of the things that I noticed was there was a confusion with one of our speakers thinking that it was Eastern time. So she had actually opened a clubhouse on the time that she's speaking with us. So now she's kind of like have to leave that and be with us later because the Pacific time wasn't there on the flyer, and some of our audiences are here right now. So yeah, real life stuff. Let's see if we were able to get Kirsten back together. Type up in the chat what you're taking away from this. What do you get to take away from real life stuff? And this is part of getting energized. It's just staying in the energy of what's not working and being okay with it. Everything is right about this. Everything is right about this. Okay, Kirsten's still trying to join us. So I can pull up another speaker. Anyone wants to raise their hands and be a speaker? Anyone wants to raise their hand and just share what your takeaways are so far? I'd love to see some hand raising. Everything's right about that. Everything is right about that. Let me see. Did I get a raised hand? Did I get a raised hand? Let me see. No one's brave enough to raise their hand? Everything is. Hi, Tamara. I'm going to acknowledge everyone that's here. That would be a good way for us to spend our time waiting for Kirsten. Tamara and Shmiko is here. Sasha. I love that name, Sasha. That's a beautiful name. Ren is here. Rachel, Natalie, Mary, Joe. And my husband is my executive assistant here is Alan. So if you're wondering why there's an Alan guy in our midst, it's because it's my husband, and he's being very supportive and helpful in putting this process together. Thank you so much. We're gonna have a recording. All the recordings are gonna be emailed to our guest speakers, and to our all our registrants. And of course, the snippets of this are all gonna be brought in, shared into the platform. So everything that we're creating together right now, and you're part of this history creating it, everything that we're going to be creating together right now is going to be with us for a long time, because they're going to be shared, in social media platforms. All of the takeaways of this wonderful women who have just given their life to us. Let me see if she's still having a challenge. So while we're looking at Kirsten's challenges, we can talk about um, what we actually meant for this time. What we meant for this time is, just creating spaces, beautiful. We've got Kristen back, and we're going to try her link this time.
Oh,
We can
okay.
hear you now.
Can you see me too?
Everything is right about that. Yay. Okay.
Guys,
Real.
sometimes it's not perfect, but it's still beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is actually a perfect intro to your message. This is a perfect intro to your message. This is exactly what we needed to see. So
Yep.
Kirsten is an interior designer. She's an amazing interior designer, and she has really rolled into a space of creating beautiful spaces that would energize you. Tell us a little bit more about you, because I don't have the full length of that.
Sure. I will try and condense because I took up 10 minutes of our time with that silliness. Long story short, I came upon the career, the path of interior styling and interior design pretty organically. My first act was a career in fashion design. I was a design director and creative director for various companies, global like mass companies for over 20 years. And just some life situations, some changes that were not entirely in my control sort of had me relocating from the city I lived in to a much smaller town. This was around the time when I had my kids, and I basically needed to find a way to apply my toolbox, my past experience, to my new setting and my new situation. um,
Mm.
as the universe would have it, right around the time that all of this change was happening, I also began going through, a bit of a traumatic situation. Definitely something that was, toxic, dealing with an individual who I since found out had narcissistic personality disorder. There was a lot of, abuse and trauma involved. Being someone in a new town, in a new situation, basically starting fresh, and also, and involved in this situation that, sort of became like larger than life. Um, I was faced with a very clear, very obvious need to reclaim my power, to take
Mm.
myself out of this situation. At the same time, I personally did not feel like I had many resources at my disposal. I had begun studying Reiki and Feng Shui and meditation instruction shortly before this time. And so those were some tools that were in my toolbox as well. And what I discovered is that almost unintentionally, almost as a way of, just trying to chip away at this environment that I was not satisfied with, that I found myself living in. I began just, doing what I do, just doing sort of what I had available to me. And I began creating these small, like, vignettes, these small sort of displays, these, styled bookshelves or a nightstand here or whatever, in the midst of all this craziness, just as a way to try and bring some fresh energy, some like positivity into my environment. Um, I put the puzzle pieces together later after this, realizing that I was, in real life, applying the knowledge that I had learned through studying feng shui and through meditation, and that I wasn't just creating a cute little bookshelf or a gorgeous, flower arrangement or whatever. I was literally creating energetically charged, spots, places in my home, because when I was creating these and then when I would place myself in these little environments, everything changed. The energy was different. I felt more like myself. I felt more empowered. I felt like I had possibilities to uplift myself and get myself out of this situation. That was a huge aha moment for me, which really led me to, going deeper into meditation instruction, connecting the dots between, design, which I know so well, and the influence and, energetic effect that our physical environments have on us. And so that, that has pretty much led me to where I am today, which is combining all of my energy work practices with my design practice to not only design spaces, but really help clients transform through whatever stickiness, whatever situation they may be going through. I basically treat design as just another modality to up level and to improve our energy and to improve our internal and our external landscapes together.
That's so awesome. That's actually what attracted me to you, is when you said that you can change the energy, it's source energy by creating little changes around you. I love how you said you were faced with an opportunity to get yourself out of that situation. It's amazing how it sounds so much more positive, framed that way, you know?
Yes. Well, yeah, it didn't always sound like that coming from me. That is definitely a result of years of doing the work. But as anyone who has lived through a challenging situation, I know you know about that as well, will tell you, sometimes you literally don't feel like you can jump into the deep shadow work, right? And the really heavy, like, reflection and self-awareness work that it actually takes to climb the ladder out of whatever you may be going through. Sometimes all you feel like you can handle is restyling a bookshelf or doing something small and physical and practical in that moment. And you just need like a little boost to get you to the place where you can do the bigger work, the next boost,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like little success builds up momentum to create kind of like an energy for more success when you really feel like you're
Yeah.
stuck.
Yes, exactly. I like to say it's like small steps all add up to a seismic shift. And, before you realize it, you're at that seismic shift and you look back and you say, wow, every little action I took made a difference. Maybe in the moment, it didn't feel like it would make that big a difference. But I always say any action you take is the right size. There's no such thing as doing too little, as an action that is too small. Taking action is reclaiming power. It's really that simple.
That is so powerful. Taking action is reclaiming power, no
Mhm.
matter what size.
Yeah.
If I could just like make that into a quote, taking power, no, is no, taking action is reclaiming your power, no
We'll put
matter
that
what size.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, taking action, is reclaiming your power, no matter what size. Because sometimes we get, and oftentimes, as a matter of fact, we get overwhelmed not knowing where to start. You
Yes.
know,
Yes, we get analysis paralysis and we see, this big looming situation. And this applies to positive things too. Sometimes we are going through some shifts and some up levels, and things are like this roller coaster, and our lives are on fire. And one good thing after the next is happening. But you can also get kind of mired in the bigness of it all. You know what I mean? Like, it can be overwhelming to see all this magic happening for you as well. And sometimes all we need is to just like pull back, look at this with the wide angle lens, get the big picture, and take a small action and chip away at the big things we need to do. And so that's why I love bringing design and an aesthetic element into this process, because it's something everybody can relate to,
Absolutely.
and it's enjoyable, fun,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, totally. Tell us about what you have for our audiences that you're giving as a gift, as to get them started with moving forward and kind of like creating energetic spaces.
Absolutely. So I have a couple of things that I would love to offer. The first is like easy breezy. I have an aligned color guide on my website, which if you go to my website and, opt in with your email, you'll get the download for this aligned color deck. And the idea there is it basically talks about the energetic resonance of every color in the color wheel and things that it aligns with, like elements that it aligns with, materials that it aligns with. And it's basically like a guide that you can save on your phone and take with you as you're shopping out in the world. You're, looking at furnishings or even clothing, even anything, everything in our space has a resonance. And we always want to make sure that everything that we're bringing in is aligned with us. And so this color guide has, sort of all the alignments for every color in the color wheel. And that's a freebie that's on my website. And then I would also love to mention, I do have a book coming out on all of this, which I am so proud of and so happy that it is finally live. It's been about a year and a half in the making. It's called High Vibe Home. And what it is it is the most approachable, accessible design book you'll ever see. It's also gorgeous and decor itself. It's a coffee table book, so it looks beautiful sitting out.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's full of really easy, like actionable tips and tricks and practices that you can do today. You can, just open to any page in the book, find something of value and put it into work immediately. It doesn't have to be like an expensive interior design undertaking or, lots of things involved. It's what I love about it is there's something in it for everyone that you can do right this second. And the pre-sale links for that are live on my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram and click on my Linktree link, you'll find all of the links for the pre-sale right there.
That's so awesome. So I'm gonna ask for Grace and have you type up the links because I was just sharing everybody the story that the Zoom opened on an iPad where I don't have the link saved up and I just couldn't operate it. So go ahead and type the links up for us. So that is so that is so gracious and generous, that we get to have that color wheel because I feel like this is what's really amazing about being able to take little steps, little action steps to like really propel you forward. It starts to give you positive energy, when you're just feeling like overwhelmed and not really knowing, kind of like where to start and, how to, sometimes you have a pile of everything, and a pile of, oh my God, where do I even start? And then you're just overwhelmed before you even start. And you're just like, nope, not going to do that. Let's me just take a nap today. Let's go on
Yeah.
the fridge, like it just becomes overwhelming. But the beauty of like what you were sharing is even on your book, the book that you're pre-launching, is that you can pick something and take it into action. And I think that's so powerful to have that tool because when you actually see yourself create something and just even if it's one spot and you're proud of it and you feel good about it, it actually gives you a feeling of accomplishment and that creates momentum in our life. That little steps, little that putting that little rocks, create, those tiny steps.
Absolutely. I'm all about celebrating the small wins. And I definitely talk about that in the book as well. Like we need the small wins. We need to not, there'll be people, there'll be clients that I work with that are like, okay, I want to totally declutter my upstairs today. I'm like, no, we're going to do a closet because we're really going to get into it. And, I have one-to-one sessions with clients that I work with on this as well. And we will go through in detail and sort out and sort of examine the energetic resonance and the alignment of each and every item in an area with the client. And by the end of that small section, you've got a small win, and that keeps you going. And that is how you move on to do the bigger spaces and feel complete and get the bigger wins. So yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. So tell us, I know that we're talking about energetic spaces, but what is the value of really aligning your space where you live into making it energetic? Because a lot of us, we're kind of like used to the same space that we're in. But what is the value of, kind of like really aligning it energetically?
So, if we think in the terms of, everything is energy, right? And like
Mm,
attracts like, um, imagine that you have gone through something. Imagine that there has been a life shift, and you lived in your current home while that happened. Our brain subconsciously creates anchors to everything in our environment all the time. And it's happening right now. It happens every single moment of every day. Um,
mm,
what that means is that the things that existed in your space or the things that are maybe attached to a certain situation energetically that your brain has anchored, oh, I hear this song and I think of this person, or oh, I see this thing that was a gift from someone and it brings me back to this situation. Those can be positive anchors and memories for us, or they cannot be. Every single thing in our space, whether it's man-made or natural materials or anything, has an energetic frequency. And we want
mm,
to make sure that our human energetic frequency is in alignment with everything in our space. Um, you know, I'm sure all of us have a few things that are not totally aligned with us and we hold on to for sentimental reasons or any number of reasons, just because, it's too daunting to clear out the closet. But eventually you reach a point of imbalance, a point of negative return. And you want to make sure that for the most part, everything in your home, the physical things in your home, they are complementing your energy and not fighting against it. So that's why, you want to feel that, if you have colors that you resonate with or an element
mm.
that is really sort of supportive for you. And there are ways that we can examine all of that and get into it. It's a whole process. You want to make sure that you are boosting the areas in your space that are most aligned with you and that you don't really have anything that is absolutely like polar opposite to you in your space. It brings you down. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
It really just kind of like lowers your energetic frequency.
Ren, you are funny. There was a question. How about a negative, stressful spouse?
Well, okay, I'm going to say something a little controversial and it's funny if you're in this space, right? I have a workshop coming up called Unspouse Your House. And I'm not suggesting that anybody like declutter and pitch their spouse out if they're not already there. But if the situation that you happen to have dealt with involves a separation or a divorce, as mine does, those anchors that we were talking about are a serious thing. And there are a lot of them in your home. And part of the recovery process from any kind of trauma, but especially a divorce and a relationship that has existed within your four walls for who knows how long, it's really important to recalibrate and have a fresh start. So, I do have a workshop coming up. I've named it like a funny name just to, sort of bring some lightness into what can be really a heavy situation. But yeah,
I actually
recovering.
love it. It's so clever. Unspouse your house.
I
It's
kind of borrowed it from an HGTV show, but I feel like my process gets a little deeper than they did on the show.
That is so amazing. Unspouse your house. Okay, Ren, maybe that's an answer for you. Go ahead and follow Kirsten. When someone resonates with you, maybe because of the what they went through, whether it is that you're feeling like you needed support also in the area where you're in right now because you're going through separation. I'm also someone who just came out of divorce for 6 years ago. So we know what that feels like. Be a part of the Facebook group. Go on the Facebook group. I would love to have you as a part of it, and be able to support you. We all support each other. One of the things that's how the way Superwomen recharge is that we stand for each other. Like one of our speakers said a while ago, Alenia, that we hold puzzle pieces for each other, and that she gives a piece of her puzzle to you so you can complete your puzzle, but also you hold a puzzle for someone else's life. We all complete each other. So it's just beautiful. And I love what you shared, Kirsten. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing us your Instagram. Thank you for sharing us your free gift. You are offering something, right? That for our audience. Is it the
Yes.
book, the
So
Amazon book?
that's the book. There are 3 different links to the pre-sale for my book. They're all in my link tree on my Amazon. And I'd actually like to, I'll just go even one step further than that. And if anybody listening would like to have like a free half an hour consultation, I mean, I think I mentioned I am a Reiki practitioner. I do meditation instruction. I use, intuitive guidance and my design practice to sort of, create a package or a program that will help us shift and up level. So if anybody would like to DM me on Instagram, I will be willing to offer like a half hour free chat on any of those things.
Yeah, and you guys can just say you're charging your Superwoman, and she would know that you came from this chat.
You can say recharging, you can say Superwoman, you can send me a single word. It's totally great. I'll get you.
So awesome. So I think the hope that we take away from this situation is that whatever your situation is, you can be in a bad situation, you can be really in a discouraging situation. It's all, everything is right about that. Because look at Kirsten. Look at how she took herself, from that and said, I have an opportunity to take my power back. That I get to have my opportunity to take my power back. And from that, she has risen, and it's become her story. It's become her success story. And so whatever it is that you're going through right now, whatever challenges, I can't wait what your success story looks like, because you have a success story from here. You have a success story from here. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Kirsten, and what you are doing. Thank you so much for sharing us your lovely home. I love all the decorations behind you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I see a comment. Someone's a little confused about my Tom Dixon light. They think it looks a little obscene. I had never seen it like that before, but thank you for the perspective.
What is it?
I mean, we all see things a little differently, right? I'm sure Tom does not relate to that, but that's okay. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing. I'm sorry for the confusion.
No worries.
But
everything is right about that. Someone needed to see that, there are imperfections that we can go through, and life continues, and we all have fun.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you so much, Kirsten. You have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too.
You're welcome. So, wow. So I hope you got some takeaways from that. Our next speaker is, oh my gosh, when I found her, she brought tears to my eyes. Literally, she brought tears to my eyes. So let me just, by now you already know how I'm operating. You're